behirdetem, és akkor kezdhetünk is. Mondtok még nekem egy hangpróbát, bármint egyébként?
Hangpróba.
Jó. Oké, szerintem mindkettőtök hangjához addolok egy pici hangerőt. Minimális. Jó lesz szerintem. És így. Egyébként nagyon furcsa az új Discord kinéző. Oké. Jó, szuper. Twitch-en is elindult a dolog. Jó, szuper. Twitch-en is elindult a dolog. Jó. Jó, szuper. Ez is működik. Discordon behirdettem, és akkor pöröghet is a dolog. Jó! No! Nálam is a székrecsegés megvan egyébként. Jó, szóljátok, hogy egyébként kezdhetünk, csak itt közben a kábeleket rendezem. Mikrofont, akkor hallható vagyok én is rendesen, ugye? Tehát nincs vissza. Jó, szuper. Igen. Szóljátok, hogy kezdhetünk akkor egyébként. Nyugodtan. Jó, akkor
kezdhetjük.
Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of my Dev Live show. Today I'm joined with the creators of the game called Ghostboy. We had a Hungarian interview before, but now it's the time for the English version of this interview. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very thankful and very honored that you joined us for today's episode of my Dev Live show. And like I said before, let's start with a little bit of introduction, like I'm always saying. So please, both of you, introduce yourself for us.
Start, Roland. Okay, thanks. So thank you for inviting us. My name is Roland. I was the writer of Ghostboy, and I'm a clinical psychologist.
Okay. What about you?
And I'm Gergő. I'm the developer of Ghostboy, and I'm a software engineer.
Okay, thank you for that. So my very first question, like always, would be, what was your very first contact with video games as a player, if you remember those times of your past? Question, of course, goes to both of you again.
Roland?
I'm not sure how old I was, but I was very young.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know, 3, 4 maybe, when I started playing Need for Speed, and I don't know, maybe even before that, the classic Nintendo games and some floppy games. I don't know. I don't even remember which one was the first.
Which was?
It's been a long journey.
I see. Which was your favorite one, if you remember that? Yeah, around that time of your childhood.
Around that time, I think it was Need for Speed. Yeah.
I see. What about you?
Yeah, I think I started with Tarzan.
Okay.
I think that was the game I played. It was a really strange game because I couldn't get through the second level where you have to jump over some tree or something, but I couldn't use the space button on the keyboard because there was something problematic. So that was my first experience. But other than that, I think I played most of the Harry Potter games. Those were my favorite when I was a child.
I see. Have you completed Tarzan at a later age of yours, by the way?
I don't think so. I mean, I get through those levels after I think I get the game second time. I think I was in my teenage years or something.
I see.
I get through the game, but I never finished it completely.
I see. What was the transition time for both of you guys when you loved playing video games, but you realized that, hey, I would like to work in this video game industry and also work on games? And how did it happen for both of you?
Well, I don't know when. I think it was around when Witcher 2 came out.
Okay.
So it was like 10 years ago or so, a bit more. But it was just an idea, or maybe even just a dream, to sometime try myself out in this industry. It wasn't really a career plan or anything, but I don't know. I just wanted to try and see how it goes for myself. Yeah, that's it.
I see. What about you?
I think I started experimenting with games when I started getting into software development. my first code was basically, okay, how can you use the first code to make a great game about it. But for really getting into the game development, I think it was my college years. I started learning about software development more deeply, and it was really raw and it was really boring. So I started exploring Unity, and Unity was a really great introduction to game development. And yeah, I started creating smaller games.
I see.
Now that you
Go for this one.
There was a time around the early 2000s when game builder programs were all around the place.
I see.
So I think I've been experimenting with that as well, but I never learned programming. I just thought of that.
What stopped you? Like you mentioned that you never started learning programming. What stopped you? What was the cause?
It was just like a different kind of logic that I use in my life. So I just couldn't manage to really learn too much about it.
I see. Thank you, by the way, for sharing this too. Thank you. That's additional information. It's a more personal question, by the way, that I always love to ask on my shows as well. Were your family members, close friends, and parents supportive about this decision that you will make the first step in order to move into the video game industry and to work on video games? And if your answer is yes or either no, do you believe that it is important for you personally to have a mentally supportive background in your life in order to do what you would like to do and what you love to do?
I think it was just a love project for me. So
I see.
I've always had such projects in my life.
I see.
And, therefore, they are used to me doing some extra things apart from my job. And yeah, of course, they are supportive, but not like that's a special thing for them. And yeah, it can be important, especially if you're starting your adult life in this industry, but it wasn't that for me. So I've been already making a living, and it was just for fun.
I see. What about you?
I think it's more complicated on my part. My family members doesn't even understand what I'm really doing at my current job. So they can't be that supportive about the game as well. They know about it, but yeah, that's it. But most of my support comes from my dorm roommates. They were really into game development, and they were really supportive about it because they were also in it. And they sort of get it out when they were in school, and they created games then, but they don't create any games now. So basically, it's just me, and they are trying to live this game development through me. So that's the support I've got from them.
I see. But you mentioned this topic, by the way, that they shared the love of making games together and alone as well. What made them stop working on video games? What do you think could be the case behind that? Because you mentioned that they supported you throughout the journey of your life, but they stopped making games.
Money and time, basically. Like they didn't have time and they needed money, so
yeah. But all of us need money, right, to pay the bills. What made them stop, but not stop you from this dream of yours? Like, what could be the difference between you and those people who still supported you, but they couldn't care about their dreams, right? Or they couldn't make the first moves or the second moves in order to go forward?
That's a really interesting question. I would like to ask them because I don't know the
bring them
real
on the
answer,
show, right?
Yeah, exactly. But one of my friends is still trying to create some games every now and then, but he's really like, okay, I will create a game in this weekend. And then he just stops. Doesn't continue. I think I have more resistance, or I don't know what the word is for it, just for sticking through it, basically.
I see. The thing, by the way, that's like both of you mentioned, if money wouldn't be a thing, then like both of your like friends would be on the making of games still.
I think so.
I see.
Making games is a really great like software development job because it's way more fun than just creating a database selection or something.
True. Yeah. How did you guys met each other? throughout this project. So what's the story behind that? I was wondering about that.
That was an accident.
Oh, okay.
Accident? I think it was deliberate.
Yeah. Okay. But the thing is that we were making this game as a team of 4 people, and another psychologist, Dominika, shared this project, some info about this project in a group for psychologists. And I just texted her that I'm very interested in this area and asked if they need anyone. And I've been writing some novels before that and blogs and everything, and sent them some of my stuff and waited for their response, and they actually took me in a couple of months.
I see. What's your story on the project?
Yeah, I mean, that was the story how Roland joined us, and I think I joined the team. I mean, the whole project started with Thomas, the original creator of the game. He had this idea of creating a game about mental illness and death and grieving, and then he approached Dominika to create this game around it. He was the first psychologist on our team. And then he approached me, I think, after he created a demo after 1 year. And I joined the team as a programmer. And then what Roland told, it was the creation of the game. And at the end, we had some designer joined our team. I forgot the name again, but he's a really great designer. I think he's in the credits at the end of the game. So if you want to know the name, you have to play through the whole game. But yeah, that was the making of the game, of the game team, basically.
I see. You mentioned the topic, by the way, of mental illness and fear of death. What was the influence behind this story and behind this theme of the whole game? So what caused this effect to make this very, in my opinion, important story from which people can learn and players can learn?
I mean, it's a story of Thomas. So we are Tamás. So it's not really our place to tell, but what we remember that he had some problems with the fear of death, and some of the grieving process was along with him, and it was a difficult time for him, and he researched a lot about mental illness and grieving, and then there was a free picture painting that he did that was about a boy who was playing and died somehow, and the whole idea somehow came together and created the game idea, and that like sparked the whole thing. But this is a story best described by him, so please watch the Hungarian interview for that.
True.
That is a way better description of
Very
this.
true. Yeah. Throughout the process of making Ghostboy, what was your favorite part of the process itself? Again, of course, question goes to both of you. Or if there are more favorite parts, you can mention.
I think it was the brainstorming for me.
Okay.
So when some crazy ideas just went around and we were just putting stuff together, like there's an idea, there's a mechanism, how do we put this together, how does it fit into the psychological background and the story, and in an hour or two it just made sense.
I see. Okay. Are there any more, or this one only?
Well, I loved many parts, like
You can mention more, like I said.
Yeah. Writing the stories for me were sometimes difficult because I really wanted to make continuable stories while also understandable and relatable, and yet very, very different storylines. But that was a challenge that I actually really enjoyed.
I see. Thank you for that. What about you?
That's an interesting question. I think I would go with the first time when we created the demo and I watched people playing the game. that felt like the best part for me in the whole game development, other than just releasing the game on Steam and just getting out there. But that was the first time I see that, okay, we created something that is not just for us, but for other people that will enjoy it. So that was a really great part of the game development.
I see. Are there more for you too?
I mean, other than the brainstorming part, I agree that it was actually really great. Firstly, implementing these ideas was also great. Testing them, it's really great having an idea and just implementing it, even if it's not like the best graphics because it was like a white square or something.
I see.
But the whole implementation and just creation of the ideas, not the ideas, the implementation is the best part for me. I mean, I'm the developer, so that's basically what my job is.
Your
so
part,
I should enjoy
your
it.
hat, we could say, yeah. Okay. You have spoken about your favorite part and parts, but what about the most challenging parts throughout the process of making Ghostboy?
On my end, I think there were 2, maybe 3. I don't know.
Okay.
One was like when something didn't go as we planned, and especially when there were time, like we were scheduled to do something, and we couldn't really reach the deadline with the expected result, and that was really hard to handle and caused some conflicts as well.
I see.
I was mostly so it was very hard for me at that time because of my other personal things that just came together.
I see.
And so that was there. And also, I think the last couple of months of making and finishing the game, because we had to give up so much from our lives. Like we have spent, I think, all the hours we could just to finish the game
Crunch
in
time.
any way. Yeah.
See. And what about the third one? You mentioned 3.
I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. Let me know if you can remember that. Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I agree that the last few weeks or month was a really hard time for us, for sure. But other than that, I think the other challenging part was when I think it was the first or second demo we released, and we got a lot of bad feedback about what is not working in the game.
I see.
And that part was really hard to figure out how to restructure it, how to make it easier, how to make it more understandable for the user. Because we had really bad problems at the beginning of how to tell the user what this more complicated gameplay is about and how to use the things in the game. So that part is still sometimes challenging when we are trying to adjust the game to, if we introduce something new, it has to be introduced in a really seamless way. But I think we overcame most of these issues.
I see. Speaking of the topic, by the way, that you mentioned that you work tireless hours of within the crunch time to finish the game, how did you guys balance your free time, work time, and also working on the game throughout the process of making this project? Okay.
Yes.
There's no way to do that.
Okay. So it was just focusing in the game, all in, and that's all?
Yeah.
I see.
We had to make a lot of sacrifices, I think, all of us.
I see.
And actually, I remember the third thing I wanted to say previously. It was that we were forced to meet online.
I see.
And that made it a lot worse to work together, a lot harder, I mean. So I think we were very, very much more effective when we met in person.
I see. Speaking, by the way, of the topic of working together that you mentioned, do you guys believe in perfect synergy between team members when working on a project together? or do you believe that it is something that develops out through the project and working together as a team?
Apps.
Sorry?
It helps.
It helps. Okay, but which one? Which one do you think is more common in between human beings when working on a project? Is it like for the first time can happen between human beings, a perfect synergy that if they meet with each other, they can have a perfect synergy from the start? Or is it something that develops out through the process of working together? What's your personal like?
Like I don't know if you have to become friends to be able to work together and make something great.
Okay.
But still, yeah, you have to understand and accept the differences as well. So sometimes there are more, sometimes there are less. I think it's part of the job that you won't get along with everyone, and yet you will work on the same thing. And it's great to feel when, yeah, you understand each other's thoughts and you just finish each other's sentences. That's also great, but not necessary, I think.
I see. Okay. What about you? What's your experience?
I mean, I'm the less professional in this question, but I think sometimes there are some synergies that are instant, and you understand who has what role in the whole development. But most of the time, it's a working process. You have to figure out what role somebody has, and these roles can change through the development. And sometimes you have to adjust what you are thinking of how you did things, especially if something new comes up that you have to do. I think one of the hardest things we did was the marketing part, because that was most vague of thing of what we could do, and it was really hard to understand which responsibility is whose. So I think game development is such a complex system that it's easy to start, but it's really hard to really completely finish and make a balance with working in a team.
Maintain the energy throughout the process of making
Yes.
it happen. Yeah. And like you said, it's very true also that you have to wear more hats, not just one, right? So you have to change those hats: marketing, programmer, artist, game designer.
Yeah, that also means that you don't finish. Like when you release the game, it doesn't stop. You have to make patches. You have to watch out for the reviews.
True.
Many people and do marketing.
True.
So even when you wanna have a rest, you can't.
True. It's also, by the way, an interesting topic that is always brought up throughout my shows and also outside my show, is that how hard or easy it is for the developers like to leave their past projects behind, right? Because some developers can easily leave their past projects behind and start a new one or start working on something new, right? But some can like really attach their emotions and their life to the past projects. How hard or easy it is for you guys to leave it behind or not leave it behind? Speaking of this topic,
I don't think we wanted to leave it behind.
Okay.
We could have been working on this game for a lot longer. We just had to move on with our lives.
I see.
And yet, we have so many ideas that could be still implemented in the game. And we just don't really have the time and the energy. And yeah, we are going back to the money issue.
I see. Okay. More personal question again from me would be, I believe that all us creators who create our own craft, they always tend to put our inner self into the craft we make, even if it's about experiencing loss, love, positive or negative experiences, memories from our past, right? Is this statement of mine true for your life when you work on creative stuff, especially on video games? And if your answer is yes, what examples could you name, could you bring us to the table from Ghostboy and from your work? Or your personal part, when working on Ghostboy? Of course, question goes to both of you again.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting for me because I'm the game developer, so it's a software job. It's not really. I mean, it's a creative job, as we discussed in the previous interview. But I think I didn't put myself into it that much. I just explored myself in it in a way of like how I programmed. But I think I enjoyed. I mean, I put myself into it more in the musicality of the game because I also did the music for the game. So that was my expression of my inner self, I think, more.
I see. And what kind of music have you brought to the table when you put something from yourself into the game's music? Like you mentioned it. Basically, it's you in the music and you in the game as from the musical part. What expressions could you name, or what feelings did you have when you composed the music?
That was interesting. I think one of the hardest things to write was the funeral scene.
I see.
I had to really get deep and feel find some really sad emotion I can conjure and use. I think that was the most interesting part to create a really personal one, I think.
I see. Thank you, by the way, for sharing it with honesty. What about you?
So I was mostly responsible for writing the storylines within the game.
I see. Okay.
The decision-based mini events. And so I had to inspire from lots of different things to make them very different from each other. And some of the storylines were, inspired by my own life. Once someone asked me if I've put any of my clients' life into the stories, but no, that I don't think would be too ethical.
True, it's understandable, yeah.
So I haven't done that, but I use some of my own stories. I wouldn't really be able to name any of them at the moment, but I remember the feeling that, to make sure that people will understand the pain, I think I'm gonna use my own words as I felt myself around that time.
I see. Do you guys believe, by the way, that through the form of art, creators and the consumers of a creation or a craft can like work a bridge between these two factions, let's say? Do you believe that form of art can really like bring together of people's understanding and understand each other? Like if there is a creator, like you mentioned, have suffered some very sad moments in their life, he can like give out his or her message to the consumers of that form of art, and they can understand his or her pain. How do you feel about that? Again, of course, question goes to both of you, because like,
isn't life about that? I mean, like,
it's true.
Life is about connecting with other people, and art is just one of the forms.
True, but my question goes to that: do you believe that people can understand each other through the forms of art?
That's a different kind of question, I think, because I'm not sure if they have to understand to be able to feel it.
Okay.
So you can feel it through in many different ways.
Okay.
And you don't have to understand my personal pain to be able to experience some kind of pain that the character in Ghostboy is going through. The intention wasn't that to make you feel the same way I did. I think the intention throughout the whole game was to make you feel like it's a personal story that you can relate to, and of course there was some room for that as well to role play within these stories, so you can really make it your own story, and you don't have to follow one person's.
Yeah, it's understandable. No, don't get me wrong. It's understandable, but I always say that as I had this. I always it's a common thing that I discuss this topic of in my life, because I remember my arguments with my literature teacher at Hungarian classes, that she always told us, and the students around me also told her and agreed with her, that like through the form of, for example, poems, you cannot like understand the same exact pain or the same exact story like the creator had. But I don't believe in it, because there are some very like rare moments where you can really relate 100% to the same pain, because you live through the same pain, right? So if, for example, I don't know, there is a creator who like writes about losing his father at the very young age, and you also lost your father, like, I don't know, very young age. It's a topic that connects to both of you, right? And it's basically the same memories, so you can really relate to each other. Of course, if somebody is, I don't know, creating a very like rich and very like happy love poem or love writing, and you're at your sad moments because you had a breakup recently. Of course, it's very different, like connection through the craft, right? But I believe in it that it's very rare, but it can happen that there is a bridge when it's like perfectly connected because both sides had the same experiences. Like it's rare, like I said, it's rare, but it can happen in my opinion. And I also experience it. That's why I say that it's rare. And yeah, that was my original question. If do you believe that it can happen? But yeah, okay.
Yeah, but what you're saying is that people can relate to, like, when someone's father dies and the other person's father dies as well, they can feel very different feelings. Like, for example, one can be angry, other can be sad.
It's true, but I still, like I said, I believe that there is
Yeah, and
100% connection because there are very rare occasions where like people feel the same feelings because their
Exactly.
emotional level is at the same percentage, like same above high percentage. And that's why I always say that there is like, it has to be that two humans who connect through the form of art, they are the same level of emotional knowledge, because it has to be like, you have to have that emotional knowledge in order to understand not just the form of art, but the other person feeling, in my opinion. That was my original question, by the way. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly the reason why we have three characters that you can relate to in Ghostboy, because they go through grief in a totally different way.
True. Okay. What about you?
After this really interesting discussion, I don't think I can add so much more, but I think I have one thing to add to this conversation is that I think games create more connections between the players themselves, like create a community, than the developer and the players themselves, I think. So that relatability is more around people playing the same game than a developer creating the game and a player playing the game itself.
True. Yeah, but like I said, I still have the feeling that all of us human beings have this, like, in our genes, that at the back of our brain, like, we always want to, like, share our thoughts and wants others to understand us, right? Even if it's, like, hard for us. But we, at the back of our brain, we always want it. Even those people, in my opinion, who say that they don't want it to have or happen in their life, right? They just say that, hey, I push my art towards the consumers and towards the people because I would like to give out the message, but I don't care if they will understand me. It's a lie, in my opinion. Like, all of us would like at least some percentage or some form of feedback and understand. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we want to be loved. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, true. Basically, that's it. Yeah. True. Okay. Throughout the process, by the way, of making Ghostboy, was there anything that you guys had to cut out from the project, and also like your personal side of the project or personal work of the project itself? And if your answer is yes, could you like reuse it at a later stage of the process or later stage of the game itself?
Well, on my end, there was a storyline that we had to cut out, and then I don't think we will ever use it. That's okay.
I see.
Yeah, Gergo can tell a lot about the cut contents because, yeah, we had a lot, I think.
Not really cut content, I think. Most of the content we didn't cut, just changed, I think. I mean, we cut some levels in the middle, but they were a bit boring. But I don't. Other than the levels, I don't remember really cutting directly implemented things. Maybe ideas. I think there were when we brainstormed, we created a bunch of ideas, and some of them were cut. Unfortunately, I don't think we wrote down most of them. So some of them remained. They might be coming in later versions of the game or on DLCs. But I think most of the best ideas that we created were implemented and in the game. Mm-hmm. That's why it's like a bigger game than we initially intended. So yeah.
I see. Going back, by the way, to the topic of mental health and mental issues, have you guys ever thought to use your game as an example as a project in schools or at universities to show people how to deal with mental illness?
Well, I have been invited to one of the universities to show the game, but that was only one time. And
I see.
there were discussions that maybe we could bring to take the game to different schools, but like the regulations are so strict that we are not really allowed to. But yeah, we would like to do that.
I see. Okay. Going back to my personal questions again, were there any changes in your life throughout the process of making this game? And if yes, what changes were there from being a game developer in other territories of your own life? So rephrasing the question to make it more simple, were there any changes from being a game developer in other territories of your own life because of the fact that you made this game?
I started giving interviews. That's a new thing.
True. We are here. Okay. And I appreciate that. So, okay. Any other changes?
Not for me, I think.
Okay. Okay. What about you?
I mean, because it's like a software and a game itself, I developed myself. I mean, I learned a lot about software development through it and about Unity. But I don't think that counts as a big change because as software developers, we always evolving and always learning new stuff. But the game didn't change me, but I changed while I was developing the game because I moved to Berlin. So I met a lot of people here that were also game developers. So I discovered a brand new community that I can interact with. So that's one thing I can that's one thing that's changed in my life because of Ghostboy.
I see.
And also giving interviews.
Yeah, true. Very true. Second time, it's yours, right? So yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, you mentioned like evolving, so I believe that's all creators evolve, right, throughout the process of making their projects, even alone together. What are your future plans? Of course, question goes to both of you again. So how would you like to evolve around your future projects, even if it's together, working together on a game, or even if you would like to work on your solo project in the future, if there are any plans for that? So how would you like to evolve in your territory or your part, or would you like to learn something new for making games?
I don't think my future is in making more games.
I see. So do you think like it's your only one and you will stop making games, or you don't know yet?
Maybe if something comes up, but like I don't have any plans for that right now.
I see. What about you?
I mean, I will always make games, maybe smaller ones, because it's like one of my most stable hobbies I've got. But I don't know. Something I have to do differently is create smaller, more like 1 month projects, basically, because Ghostboy was a really big project that I didn't have enough time for. I made time with sacrifices, but that's not that I can afford for a more sustainable life. So
I see. The very beginning of our interview, you also mentioned like there were like some negative players' feedback that because of you had to change the game into some other directions. How did you guys dealt on an emotional level with these negative players' feedback?
For me, the most difficult one was not a player's, but like a journalist review.
I see.
When we finally released the game, I think the first thing that we mentioned in the beginning of the interview was probably like feedback from the developers from a conference, and that also delayed the game by like a year or something. So that was also difficult, but I don't know. For me, that wasn't as difficult as the first real reviews that felt like they just didn't understand the game.
I see.
And that made me like I don't even know the right word for that in English, especially. But like, it made me really question everything. Like, how do you manage not to understand this? Because we've worked so hard on making you understand it as easily as possible.
True.
And there's always room for improvement. That's the one thing I learned from it.
True. But that's again going back to the topic, like I mentioned, that people have to have an emotional like knowledge in order to understand some topics, right? And if they do not understand, they might not being able to like review it, let's say, in a better way. It's like I'm always saying, if you give I don't know, a mental illness topic like game to a player who just played FIFA for their whole life, right? He might not understand it correctly, right? So you have to like educate him, but it's another topic for another time, I guess. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think my worst moments were in development. I think around that part that Ron mentioned, that was even there a conference. We got a lot of feedback that, oh my god, everything doesn't work. They don't understand the game at all. We had to rework everything. At the conference, we created some new ideas with Tamás that can rework everything. And then I think it was like a couple of months after that, there was another conference I went to here in Berlin, where I just showed the demo, and a lot of people, oh, I understand it, I play it, this is amazing. And I was like, okay, so it works now. So this kind of
Up and down,
really emotional roller coaster,
Yeah.
it was really hard, but there were so much high points that the low points were okay to process.
I see. What was the right balance, or how did you guys balance like to have the original vision for the game, right, and not make such sacrifice that you sacrifice too much for the players' feedback and take away from the vision of the game? So what was the balance behind those, or between those two things? Again, of course, question goes to both of you.
For me, it was just following Thomas's guidance, because he was the one, I think, mostly responsible for making us work together in one direction.
I see.
So
he kept the vision straight, we could say.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
From beginning to end.
I see. What about you?
I mean, yeah, it's the same answer. Thomas was the one that kept us on the same page. That he was such a core of the project that we couldn't just stray away from the path that was really the base of the game. But we considered every feedback, every little feedback that we got. We talked about everything that they thrown at us. But yeah, it was interesting.
I see.
That's for sure.
So, going back to the topic of the game itself, are you guys planning to release your game to other platforms as well? So not just PC, but for example, PlayStation, Switch, Xbox?
I think I can talk
again money. Ka-ching.
We looked into some of the options because we have controller supports already for the game. For a console development, it would be really easy to do. The problem is Unity blocks us from achieving it without paying for the Pro subscription. So please, Unity, give us a free Pro subscription so we can release the game.
True.
But
let's clip this part of the stream and send it to them. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, basically it's a money issue. We need money to develop for the consoles. Other than that, I don't think we have any like technical problems converting this game.
I see.
Yeah, well, the development kits are also very expensive at thousands of dollars. So yeah,
I see. But can you like request like for free from Sony?
Some of them, I think. Xbox and PS5.
Because as far as I know, they can also like give you free if they like if you request it throughout the process of like this application.
Yeah, the development kits for Xbox and PS5 are free, as far as I know. I'm not sure about PS5, but Xbox is really great about this.
Yeah,
but the
like I said,
is
they are more open-minded about giving it for free if they see that the developer would like to put their game on their storefront. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just Unity is the one blocking us.
I
So.
see.
And Nintendo as well, I think, because
Oh yeah, also Nintendo's.
our game would be a perfect Switch game, but
true.
Yeah,
simply cannot release it on a Switch or Switch 2.
I see. Again, of course, maybe your answer will be again money, but I will ask it anyway. So what about like a physical edition for the game? Like, I'm a big fan of physical editions. We discussed it on Hungarian end, but for those who are watching it in English, let's talk about.
Is there a demand?
Topic. Sorry?
Is there a demand?
Yeah, I mentioned it in the Hungarian interviews that yes, there is always a big demand for that, and there are a lot of companies that are built on this demand and this request from players. So those who believe that physical editions are not like needed, they are needed. It's just like
media pushes. In Hungary, maybe, but
no, not in Hungary. In all places, like in all places. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I've seen statistics, and like in Great Britain, they decorate their toilets with the discs.
No, it's not true. Like the media pushes. No, it's not true.
Yeah, that's a great thing that you mentioned that.
Yeah. I mentioned it not just in the past of our Hungarian interview, but in other like places as well. That there were a lot of like places that mentioned, and also Sony mentioned it. It was a lie from the media. These statistics that got pushed out from like video game journalists that hey, discs are not available right now, and hey, we'll stop like fabricating and making physical editions. It's a lie, because like basically if you see Limited Run Games started the company to make indie games available for physical editions, and now there are like hundreds of companies who are making the same exact form that Limited Run Game does in order to like have physical editions for the smallest and cheapest indie games as well. If there wouldn't be like a request for it, they might not survive, right? But they are surviving perfectly. Like people buy it and also resell it on eBay for like 2 or 10 times the exact price that they offered for. So yeah, it's a lie. Statistics are always lying. I can tell you that. That's one thing that I learned from math class as well. Yeah, because it's like if you think about like it's the greatest example of statistic. Like if you say that, I don't know, 90-100% like said yes, it doesn't mean that they asked the whole like world or whole country, right? It only can mean that they asked like 100 people, and out of 100 like 90 people or persons said that yes. So it's like, yeah, it's like not the whole community. Okay. What about the future? What about your future plans? You mentioned that you are not planning to make games anymore, or you don't know yet, but what about you?
With me?
Yes. I'm not sure if you see the same screen, so I'm trying to... sorry. Yeah, on my end, it's like left, right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so my future is still making games beside my job. That's always gonna be part of my life, I hope. But yeah, I'm not sure what or when will I ever.
You mentioned smaller games, yeah.
Smaller games, yes. I'm not sure if mobile would be the best version for it, because
it's not really creative, don't I guess.
Like how. No, I love mobile devices and the creativity as well. I just hate the mobile gaming environment, like the Play Store and the App Store. They are really not made for game releases and everything. So that's why I usually stay away from them. But my first games were in mobile games, so I have some experience in them.
I see.
But yeah.
Can you see yourself, by the way, in the future as like a full-time game developer? So go into the full-time direction in your life when it comes to video games and the video game industry?
Not in this current climate, because the money is not there right now for game development. Yeah.
True. Would you take a
But,
risk, by the way? Would you take a risk, or you're not that stubborn if it comes to video games, or not that passionate?
I wouldn't create a company for it.
I see.
That's for sure.
I see.
But I would join a team if they already created a company. They have a vision, I think.
I see.
I'm more of a this kind of team player, not the creation of company kind of guy.
I see. Okay. Are you guys down to go into some community-oriented questions before I ask some more questions from the chat, if there are some? Thank you. By the way, let me know if we haven't discussed any topic that you would like to talk about or to tell me anything about. Let me know if there is anything. Okay, let us know, ladies and gentlemen, if there is anything that you would like to ask. Let us know. We will be able to ask in the Discord as well, but let us know. I will also share the Steam page of the game again. Let me do that. Okay, while we are waiting for questions, if you would have to tell me or tell the viewers what would be the ultimate or message that you always wanted to give out for the players with the game, what would be that message? So what is the core message of the game? Let's say like that, or let's rephrase my question. What's the core message of the game?
I think the core message is don't try to struggle it through alone.
I see. Okay.
You always have someone.
Okay.
Even if you don't think you want to push them away, you still need them.
Okay. What would be your personal message that you think also?
I think my understanding of what I wanted to create of the game, it's if you fail, just try again and try something different. Because trying the same things again is not gonna work. You have to try always something different if you do the same thing again.
Okay. I see. Do you guys, by the way, live by these messages that you mentioned? I hope so.
I try to.
Okay. Or it's always easier to make it as a message and advice and rather than to follow, right? I'm just joking. Yeah. Okay. What would be your advice for people who would like to make the first move in order to work on video games from all of your experiences that you have in your bag now? Again, of course. Okay.
Very, very small.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other advice?
And wait for a really great designer to approach you to join your team.
I see. Yeah. Would you guys, by the way, regret if you haven't started this project together? So if you haven't,
yes,
went into making video games? I see.
This is the best project that happened in my life. That I can say.
I see. Speaking of you, by the way, you mentioned that you would like to make smaller games and games in the future as well. What kind of or what type of games would you like to create? Because in my opinion, everyone has a dream game, right? Or dream games, dream projects that they would like to make.
I mean, I don't have a dream game right now. I just want to create something that is more lighthearted and fun.
I see.
Because Ghostboy was such a heavy topic. But yeah, I mean, I have some dream ideas that I can create, but those are really specific, really niche games that I don't think will be released to anyone, just for myself.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, going back to my personal questions, how your player's perspective changed from being a game developer for so many years and working on this project? If there were, of course, any changes from your player's perspective. So as a player, how have you changed? And how your perspective changed as a player?
I think I respect indies more.
I see. Okay. Do you think you haven't had that much respect for indies rather than AAA before?
I just didn't really care about indie games.
Okay.
Now I pay a lot more attention and I just enjoy them.
I see. Okay. What about you?
think I appreciate tutorials way more right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because like making them is really hard to be really seamless. And if the game creates the tutorial in really seamlessly, and I'm enjoying it, playing through it, then okay, this game will be good. It doesn't matter if the game will be shitty afterwards. If the tutorial is great, okay, that's one good point for them.
I see. Going back to the topic, by the way, of the game itself, one question that I almost forgot to ask is that what was the difficulty setting goal for the game throughout the process of making Ghostboy? So how hard or how easy you aimed for with this game?
We made it a lot easier than intended in the first place.
Okay. Was it because of the players' feedback, or was it because you testing the game?
Us testing and the players' everyone's feedback. Yeah,
I see.
I called it the tower defense of the Dark Souls of tower defense, but that was a personal opinion early on, and then I think we've spent the last couple, maybe 1 year, maybe even more, making it easier and easier and easier and easier. Yeah, still added a cruelty level, cruelty difficult, but that's not as cruel as it was.
I see. Okay. What's the balance, by the way, in the game between different gameplay segments? Because, as to my best knowledge, there are different like gameplay segments or options or features in the game, right? What was the balance, the intention with the balance for these segments to have, like the story and the other features in your game, like the tower defense, also adventuring throughout the maps? What was the balance behind those segments in your game?
I think most of the balance comes from managing to create a story part of the game and the gameplay part of the game that is really somehow connected, really, but a really different feeling, because playing through the levels is a really exhausting, really, okay, you have to figure out what to do, and it's really, you have to concentrate to it. But it's a really different experience reading the story. But we had to connect it somehow, so it doesn't feel like two separate parts of two separate games. And I think with some of the system, we created a really seamless transition between them.
So it was pacing in my words, yeah.
I see. You mentioned that there are different characters for different feelings in the game. Which is the most or best or close to your heart or personally to you from the game, from those characters, and why?
I don't think I can make such a difference.
Okay.
Like they are different, but not in quality.
I see. Okay. But which is more close to you, if you would have to pick? I know it's always easy to ask to pick, and it's always harder to answer. I'm the devil here right now asking this question, but if I'm asking...
I'm having trouble to answer your question, because we have 3 characters, and each character has 8 different ways to cope with grief. So I'm not in an easy position to pick one.
True. I know. Like I said, it's always me, the devil, who is asking this question.
Yeah. Probably going in Hulk mode for the first few days, and then calming down was one thing that while making the game I could most relate to.
I see. Okay. Thank you, by the way, for answering this question with honesty. What about you?
Actually, I think I like going through the child stories mostly.
Okay.
Because those are really like readable somehow. I'm not sure why. It's really interesting feeling of an innocent boy having this really deep feeling about a brother who has lost, and I think that is the most relatable part of the game for me, I think.
I see. Okay. Last topic that I would also like to discuss, or going back to the topic of mental illness, is that why do you think it is like a taboo topic, especially in European countries, to talk about mental illness? Why people are scared to talk about these topics like mental illness, or scared or being afraid of death or losing somebody?
Because it's hard.
Okay.
Hard to cope with.
Okay.
I think they are hard to cope with if you have even just like anxiety or panic attacks, and that's even from one of the lightest or easiest disorders to deal with when it comes to mental disorders. But then again, the question rises, like you mentioned that European countries have this difficulty with
Sure.
even talking about it, and other countries may have become more open, but I'm also not sure if that's helping. Like they can talk way too much and make it way too superficial, like not really going into the real depth of the feelings they are experimenting.
It's also true, yeah. It's also true. It's also true. But in my opinion, it's like, sorry for interrupting. In my opinion, it's like the lack of like education again. Like it's always, you can always bring down to this topic of like the common topic of lack of education, right? Because like if students at a very young age would be educated to a higher emotional level, how to deal with these such topics like losing somebody, and also from the parenthood, like the parents' side, they were like not a taboo topic, but they would be also like educated to these topics, it would be, in my opinion, much easier. And also, like you mentioned, I agree with that they would have this private bubble, because like they have this educational form of like how to like have a grief moment in their life or in their life, because the parents deal or how to cope with those moments, right? So
yeah, you have to educate enough, so you have to be a like emotionally prepared.
True.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, that together.
Yeah. Do you can there could be or can be a change in the future about people will be like more educated to this topic and also like more emotionally?
I can already. It is a process that has been going a decade or so, maybe even more.
I see.
Psychologists, for example, without shame, will just simply talk about these topics as well.
Or in a game, right? So true.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
I hope it will go on. Yeah.
True. That's you.
Thing he said.
But
in my personal experience, I feel the world is going in a right direction. Everybody is about these topics even more than before, especially in an online sphere, like in in TikToks. And people are, yes, might be miseducated, but to receive this kind of education right
it's
now.
True.
People.
True.
So even if they have one of the mental illnesses mean actually somehow direct that can help you really understand what is the what they are feeling basically. So
okay. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for everything that we have discussed here. Is there anything or you would like to talk about, even if it's about process of making it, your own experiences that you would like to mention and talk about that we might miss speaking?
Hey, Ghostboy.
Sorry?
Play Ghostboy.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
True. I would say wishlist, but it's out, so it's not wishlisting anymore, but playing. Yeah, true. Very true. Thank you, by the way, for both of your time, and thank you for everyone who joined us for today's Dev Life episode. Like I said, I will need some more of your minutes of stream, but for those who were with us here at this episode, this exact episode of my Dev Life show, thank you that you joined us for today's episode, and thank you for both of you that you joined my episode. It was really an honor and a pleasure to have you on my show. And yeah, for those who were watching us, like I said again, thank you, and have a great day or night depending where you live. Have a nice one. Bye bye.